Okay, let me try to answer to solve this simple inheritance problem right here, this inheritance question. So it has something to do with person, with the attributes name, age, and ID, and the person has one subclass, which is student, and the student has additional instance variable, has additional attributes like major and credit hours. So if we are going to draw the hierarchy, so this is going to be what it looks like. So the superclass is person class, okay, and the subclass which inherits from person is the student. Okay, so we only have two levels. And so if you're going to write it in Java using Eclipse, so I'm using Eclipse right here, so I have created two classes. So the first one is the person, which is the superclass, and the other one is student, which extends, since it is a subclass, it is the subclass of person, so it must extend person. Okay, so in other words, student, since student extends person, so in other words, student is a subclass of person. So let's go back to the question right here. So let's do the person class first. Okay, so person has three instance variables, namely age, name, age, and ID. So let me declare these instance variables as private. So the first one is name, so it's of type string. And the second one, the second instance variable of person class is age. So age is, let's say, let me declare it as int. And the last but not the least instance variable of person class is ID. So it's also, it could be string, okay, because ID number could be a combination of letters or characters or a number or digits, numeric numbers, numeric digits. So it's up to you. If you would like to declare ID as string, it's okay. If you would like to declare ID as int, like what I'm doing right now, that's fine. So it's up to you. It's your preference, okay? So me, as the programmer, I want to declare it as int, but you can declare it as, you know, as a string as you like. So ID or badge, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so these are the three instance variables of person class. And also person has methods such as set, or also known as mutator. Class person class also has get methods, or what we call accessor. And of course, this class also has toString. So let me create the constructor first, so we can initialize the three instance variables. So again, we start with public, and public is optional. You may not write public access modifier explicitly, but if you don't write the public explicitly, so compiler will consider it as package, which is the default access modifier. So most of the time constructor is declared as public. Okay, so public, and then followed by the name of the constructor, which is the name of the class. And since we have three instance variables, I want to I want to declare or initialize rather. So the constructor must have 3 local variables or parameters. So let me start with n as of type string. So n is for the name, and another one which is of type int is age. So let me use a for that, and the last one is of the same type, which is int, and I'm gonna be using I, and that is for the ID. So the body has the assignment operations, of course. So whatever the value of n local variable is, that is assigned to name. Okay, so the second assignment operation is whatever the value of local variable a is assigned to age. And last but not least, so whatever the value of I local variable is, that is assigned to ID. So we are done with the constructor. So again, constructor is used to initialize the instance variables. So like what the question says, the person class must have or has set methods or mutators. So since we have 3 instance variables, so it is ideal to have 3 set methods. Okay, so let me start with the set method for the name. Okay, so since set methods or mutator methods don't return, so it must be void. So let me call the mutator or the set method for the name as set name. Okay, so since set name or mutator methods are used to change the values of the instance variables, so set methods must have parameters or local variables so that it can change the existing values of the instance variable. So set name must have 1 parameter, which is the new value of the name. So it needs 1 variable to store the new value for the name. So let me create a new variable. Let me call it n, and whatever the value of n is will be assigned to name, and that would be the new value of name. So it does the same thing like what the constructor does, right? So n, whatever the value of n is assigned to name. So name has a new value. So you can have a new variable name like name here. So it's not always n, you can have your own variable name like name. But the problem is, since I use a local variable name, same as the instance variable name, so they have the same name. So compiler Java would get confused. Wait a minute. This name, what is this name? The local or the instance? Wait a minute. What is this name? The local or the instance? So compiler gets confused. So for you to tell the compiler or Java which one is which is which. So of course the one on the left side of the equal sign right here is the instance variable. The right side of the equal sign is the local variable. So in order for us Java programmers to tell Java that, hey, this name, the one on the left, is the instance variable, so we have to use the keyword this. Okay, so in other words, that this name right here on the left of the equal sign is this object's name, not the local variable name. Okay, so that's what this keyword means. So, but in order for you to save time typing the keyword this, so don't use local variable same as the instance variable name. Okay, so you can have another name like name or NME or whatever you like. Okay, just make sure that you know what to do if you use the same name as the instance variable. Okay, so you have to use the keyword this. So in order for us to save time and effort typing the keyword this, you can use different name as the local variable for the local variable. Okay, so whatever happens, you know what to do. So I'm done with the set method for the name, so let me create another one for the age. So let me change this to set age. So of course age accepts one value, which is the new age of type int, and it assigns it to the instance variable age. And the third, last but not least, the last set method or the last mutator method is for the ID. So let me change the name to set ID, and it accepts one parameter. It has one local variable, let me call it I, and whatever the value of I is, that is assigned to ID instance variable to have a new value. Okay, so we are done with the set method. Now let me create another set of methods, which is the get methods. And since we have 3 instance variables that are private, so it's ideal to have 3 get methods or 3 accessor methods. Okay, so any methods of other classes can still access these even though they are private. Okay, so ideally we have 3, one for each instance variable. So let me just collapse all these methods so I have more space down here. Okay, so let me start creating the first accessor method for the name. So since accessor returns, so it should have returned data type, so I'm doing the name accessor method for the name. So name is of type string, so definitely, therefore, this accessor method returns a string. Okay, so let me call it get name. Okay, so it doesn't need anything to do its job. It just simply returns the name, so it doesn't have any local variables. Okay, so it simply returns the value of the instance variable name. So we're done with the first accessor or get method, and that is get name. So I'm gonna do the second one for the age. So let me just rename it to get age, and what it does, it returns an int, which is the age, not ID, sorry. And last but not the least, the last accessor method is let me call it get ID, and it returns an int, which is the ID. So I am done with the 3 accessor methods or the 3 get methods. Okay, so last method that we have to create is toString. So toString, again, toString is a special method. It returns the string representation of this object. But before I do that, let me collapse all these methods right here, so I would have space down here. So the last method that I'm going to create is toString, and it returns a string or the string representation of this person object. Okay, and what is that string representation? So let me decide how toString represents this object. So I just want this toString method to return the 3 values, the three values of the three instance variables. So let me just display some labels right here.